Hello. Hello, and welcome to tonight's show from Let's Drone Out. Tonight, CurryKitten drives a little mini rover by the side of the playground looking like a weirdo.
Are we doing that, are we? Okay.
And tonight, my little Tony vegan sausage passes a test.
Bonjour.
Congratulations.
The other night, Andy RC went dogging, as in walking dogs.
How do you?
Andrew / Frank, he set the whole thing up and is probably going to lose his rag.
Hey!
And someone who's actually with Top Gear, Andrew Lawrence. Hello.
Very
Let's
good, Jack.
start the show.
That. It did look like he was
Thing.
about to have a heart attack whilst he's just ran home, haven't you, Jack?
Yeah, I was still...
Apologise to everybody for making us late.
I'm very sorry for my tardy, already still stuck at work behaviour. I do apologise.
And
Well, people don't know it's LDO.
because this is recorded on Guy Fawkes Night 2020 in the UK, and therefore there's a lot of fireworks. So that explains that noise.
You
sorry.
you probably won't notice because Frank lives in London. And that's usually the sound of gunfire.
Noise.
People are a bit. They prefer stabbing at the moment in London, so there's less gunshots at the moment. So it'd be a bit of a novelty.
Well, no, gunshots you can socially distance. Stabbing, not so much.
There's less gunshots.
Oh, Tony, you've only been doing it 5 years.
5 years.
What an idiot.
Oh, dear. Right. So, if anyone in the UK or abroad has been watching the latest season of Top Gear, you may have noticed a lot of FPV shots in there around a lot of the most interesting things that have been happening in it. And so
Frank, volume up.
I have to thank Fraser Steen in the chat for putting out the feelers and finding out who the person was behind all this. And the person behind all that was indeed Andrew Lawrence. Thank you very much for coming on tonight.
Pleasure.
I think everyone is very, very jealous about both what you've been able to do in terms of, you've been out flying in amazing locations, following crazy things happening, getting your footage up onto BBC One on Top Gear, and presumably getting paid for it as well. Like you've been living the dream there as far as everyone else can see. But I think I think everyone would be very interested to hear kind of how you got up to that point, really. First question, I guess, would be, how long have you been flying?
I've been flying FPV for about 2 years now, and sort of other drones for probably about 5 or 6. So just started with the Phantoms back then. It's always been sort of directed towards filming, really. And then, well, the thing that got me into FPV, I'd say, was I saw, Nick's video when he's flying with a train that I think he got in trouble for. And I just thought that was amazing. And then I just sort of went from there and brought Vortex 230, the little one that's got all the weird electronics built into sort of the frame and board of it. And then
What edition? Metal Danny edition? What one? Can you remember?
230 is the Mojo, isn't it?
Oh, actually,
yeah, the Mojo. Yeah, I think it was like a later one.
Yeah.
But no, I just got hooked from there, really.
So what was that like? If your experience was like camera drones, which essentially is sort of pushing a camera around the sky, very easy, going to FPV for the first time, was there a sort of, how much crashing was there essentially? He's either gone to sleep or it's frozen. I'm sorry about the boring
Your
question.
question was
Oh, he's
really
back.
rubbish. Oh, he's back.
Sorry, dude. It just cut out a bit there towards the end.
Yeah.
What was that?
No,
again?
you froze up here. So, yeah, I was asking about how difficult was the transition into FPV from flying a camera drone.
It was pretty steep, I think. I remember the first, because I initially got, because DJI came out with those like horrendous goggles for the Mavic, like the racing ones, and I got those and first time I tried to fly the Vortex. Ended up, it was sort of winter's evening. I thought I'll just try this with my little brother. And it went into the middle of the field. I don't know if I was on the wrong like video channel, and it was completely cut in, and then ended up spending a good few hours trying to like search for the new drone. Really,
Before I start talking beepers.
yeah. So yeah, it was definitely very steep sort of learning curve, and then I don't know, after a few months, and I got sort of hang on it. Sort of because there wasn't really many people around where I live or that I knew that did it. It seemed still quite like in sort of new, novel things. And then sort of hooked up with Seb and just been messing about and flying with him for, I don't know, a good like year and a half or something.
Yeah, he's a good flyer, old Seb. I've seen some of his YouTube stuff. Very
Oh,
good.
no. Yes, Seb's a really nice dude.
Yeah.
Just
a question I want to answer because it's coming up a lot. Does anybody watch New Top Gear? The answer is yes. I think it's brilliant with Paddy and Freddie Flintoff. I think it's better than the Clarkson one, and I know that's sort of like a big thing to say.
Is it all right if I just literally leave?
You need to watch it.
I'm gonna wheel on you.
I promise. I feel bad because I haven't watched Top Gear since they left. Only because I'm such a fan of.
I haven't watched it either, but I was careful to make sure I watched the drone footage that Andrew did, so I at least have some context to talk about.
It is brilliant. The last two series when they've had Paddy and Freddie, it is hilarious, man. I prefer it to the Clarkson one. It is that much better. So anyone, just go and watch it. It's on iPlayer.
I'm gonna go and watch it just because, but you're only saying that because they're northern and you're northern.
No, well, maybe. Right, carry on anyway. Yeah, they take.
Even Pavel doesn't watch it.
Yeah, it's really good. It is really good. I was well impressed. Carry on.
I'm just going to shout out Gatecrasher FPV, who's just wanted to say hello from Tokyo. He's watching. So, what's up? Gatecrasher FPV, nice for you.
Konbanwa.
Well, what time is it? Konbanwa.
Although it's morning. Morning
evening for us.
So, Andrew, how long have you been doing? Like before Top Gear, have you been using the FPV stuff, the DJI HD FPV stuff, much in the in your professional role doing the video work?
Yeah, a few times. Like just because I usually film a lot on mountain biking, so I guess I developed a lot more of my sort of filming skills from filming mountain biking with it, really. So, but there's probably only since lockdown I've had the HD system, and before that I was just on analog before. So,
nice.
But no, I don't know. I'd say prefer filming bikes than to do cars generally, but
presumably, like how did you get involved with doing the Top Gear stuff? Like, did they reach out to you, or did you reach out to them, or was there something between?
The Top Gear stuff was because I was doing the sort of drone gimbal on the Inspire anyway, and then there was just a few instances when they said, well, I flew it once or twice, and then so the Alton Towers one was actually the first time I would say properly used it, which was kind of quite scary. Fly that first time round.
I think Curry, you wanted to know a bit more about that, didn't you?
Yeah, because when I saw, I mean, obviously there was no one there, but I saw the coasters were going, and it was obviously beautifully timed to go sort of through a corkscrew and meet up with the cars and stuff. Did they make you do like a couple of dry runs before they said we're not running our coasters as you're flying around? Did they make you do it first, or were they absolutely happy to say quad versus coaster will win? We don't care, just go ahead.
There's because they're quite strict on all the health and safety, Alton Towers. So there was a lot of obviously you got to do all the risk assessments and sort of method statements beforehand to say how you're going to be flying, etc., etc. So it was, I don't know, felt like I had to fly quite tame, really. But because Seb actually came and was the spotter for me at Alton Towers, and probably the hardest thing was literally, especially with Smiler, just timing the roller coasters and getting to know when they'd be at a point where you could obviously either fly past them or with them and then meet up with a car. So probably spent, I don't know, good hour or something just playing with the roller coasters to know the exact timings of them, which is actually really tricky.
Wow. So how many lipos do you go out with when you're going to be like, okay, we're going to be flying for a day here? What if you just got like a boot full of them so you can carry on?
No, usually I'm trying to think how many, like maybe between 6 and 10, and just got 2 large like field charging batteries. Just as soon as one's done, I'd just put it on charge, obviously.
Whack it on 20 amps, it'd be all right.
Yeah. I'm quite conservative when it comes to charging. But no, it's like it's strange with Top Gear. Obviously, there's a lot of amazing opportunities, but sort of comes with a lot of stress as well.
I bet it does, yeah.
It's not all sort of just fun and games like we're chaperoned around with one of the Alton Towers staff the whole time, and yeah, it's I don't know, it's not very, there's no really messing about, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, because I imagine they can't really be doing with horseplay behind the camera.
No. Well, like there's obviously you do have your good fun, but a lot of the time, because there's such tight schedules and you've probably only got one chance most of the time, it does get quite serious.
Bit of pressure on there.
Yeah.
Especially after the presenters keep wiping out cars and costing budget that way.
Yeah.
But do you like? Is there anything? Because you're saying like it can be a bit stressful because it's like quite a high pressure thing. Is there a shot that kind of sticks in your mind as being like that was like the hardest one to get, or like the toughest one to keep?
The ones through Smiler are actually quite tricky, just because when you go out flying, usually there's a structure to what you're going to fly around, whereas Smiler just seems like really organic and just all over the place. And then because there's 2 roller coasters going at the same time, to know exactly where they're going to meet, and because some of the gaps are quite small, even to fly with the drone. And I would say that was one of the more like trickiest technical wise, I guess. It looks like massive holes, but when your hands are shaking a little bit and you've only got one go to do it, it seems a lot smaller.
Yeah, I get you. We're just going to have to stop you for a second. We just had a donation from Zero of $10. Thank you, Zero, for donating to our cause. Thank you very much. There you go. Jack's setting his flat on fire for you.
Thank you for supporting us. And what we'll do is, after recording this live on YouTube, we'll be taking it, editing it down into a listenable podcast, hopefully, and that'll be out.
This one's will win
through all the feeds on any podcatchers that you've got. So whether that's through Spotify or SoundCloud or Podcatcher or whatever you listen your podcasts on.
Hey, we've got Caroline Tyler in the chat. She's the very kind lady who donated a head tracker to me. Thank you.
Oh, bless. Thanks, Caroline.
Frank, can you turn yourself up a bit? You're very quiet.
You are
sorry.
mentioning that you're a bit quiet, to be fair.
I think,
Or I'm deaf.
No, he is a little bit quiet, a little bit bassy as well, a little bit ASMR, Andy.
So I guess what you're saying, Andrew, is yeah, it's good fun, but there's a bit of a difference between work flying and just messing around in the field with mates, where you have to take it a lot more seriously, and it's not quite as much fun as just rolling up to Alton Towers and saying let's just blast around all the coasters when we feel like it.
Yeah, I'd say like because obviously do filming is like my main job, and half the time I might be flying, but it just doesn't feel like actually go out and fly and have fun. You know, like most of the time, it feels like you come back from a job and you just want to just go out
and
in the
rip
field and
balls.
just, I don't know, just mess around with your mates. And there's no sort of consequences or anything then, as whereas obviously when you're doing it on a film set or whatever, it's not quite as fun, I guess. But you just get amazing opportunities and just get to go to some cool places, really. That's why I would say it. Generally, like doing any mountain biking stuff, because there's only probably a few of you that are out filming and you're just with your mates, just in a cool environment, or mountains or a forest or something. It's just a lot more chilled.
Do you ride?
Yeah. Recently, I did a lot when I was younger, and I've recently just brought an e-bike, so I'm just getting back into it again.
Cheater then.
No.
where's NJ when we need
You're
him?
a cheater then. You're a cheater, e-bike cheater.
That e-bike looks amazing.
No, e-bikes are the best.
Look, I'm not getting one until I'm 50. Who's got an owl going on in the
That
background?
might be me, I think.
Just hear an owl every couple of minutes.
No,
This
it's
is
not
definitely
cheating.
in the country. Everyone else has got explosions. He's got an owl.
If it was cheating, we'd like run a walk instead of cycling.
Yeah, I get it. I'm not doing it until I'm 50. I'm telling you.
Like I don't know,
Not long,
going uphill and
It's
having as much fun as going down. So
I know. I when they pass me, I'm like trying to kick them off. Like, get off.
Yeah.
I know.
So, Andrew, have you worked with Top Gear for a while, and it's just because we're noticing the drone footage now that's a recent thing, and you've actually worked with them doing general drone stuff for a while, or is it just this latest series?
Yeah, I've probably worked with them for I don't know, over a year or something before I started doing the FPV stuff.
Brilliant.
Nice.
So,
And
yeah.
there was a question in the chat from Gabe Colon, who was asking how big is the aerial camera team for the production? So, like, are you the man doing everything in terms of the drones, or is there a group of you?
I'd say probably 90% of the time it's just me and with one of my mates called Let Park, and he would be usually flying the Inspire, and then obviously I'd be doing the gimbal. But then that's it, really.
Oh, so it's a two-person. One flies, the other does the camera part. Oh, interesting. Very cool.
And then I don't know, like a lot of the time with the FPV stuff, I'd say Lek might only be one man up in, and then I'd do one or two shots on the FPV. Like sometimes it's not purely, you're just here to do FPV. So it's sort of, if there's any time at the end, mostly we might be able to get a shot or something like that.
We've got a question from Win Davis here. Says, you've done loads of creative clips on YouTube. What is your favorite?
I'm trying to think what my favorite is.
And have you got your YouTube channel as well? What's your handle on YouTube?
Don't actually know that. I don't really upload to YouTube very often.
Okay.
I just post on Instagram, to be honest.
Fair enough.
Where can people find you on Instagram?
Andrew J. Lawrence.
There you go.
Cool. Okay. You're gonna have a load of idiots following you very shortly.
We'll probably stick your thingy in the link of this video. Your Instagram.
Dave Story said he thought that Ali Pali was the best location, and that did look quite fun. Just kind of diving out around the park in front of Ali Pali, then going through in and then into the wall of death that they had set up. It's like, did you have fun doing that one? Or is this all kind of like?
Yeah, no, that wasn't too bad. To be well, I don't know. It's just sort of to do with production. They thought they'd probably film all that within an hour, but that would have no way happened. Just because of the sort of logistics of actually getting the hall free of clutter was an absolute nightmare. So actually, probably only had, I think it was between 20 and maybe 15 minutes to film inside, which is not, it's literally, I don't know, maybe 2 packs, 3 packs at the most.
Definitely a gun and run situation then.
Oh, it is all the time. There's with Top Gear, it's usually just try and get a shot. That's the sort of mindset, to be honest. It's not like, oh, I really want to compose something here. It doesn't really work like that.
I did spot a crash, actually, I think, in one of them. I can't remember. What was that? The Alton Towers one. I just remember
seeing going around the rally track with the guys on the roof.
Yes.
The roof.
Oh, that was that one.
That leads on to like another question. I forgot who it is. It's earlier in the questions about, are there many crashes when we're trying to get this FPV stuff?
Weirdly, they always just want you to fly the most, I don't know, difficult. Like that was Chris. He was on the top. Was it Freddie on the top of the car? Yeah,
Chris
I think
Harris,
it might be. Yeah, I think
Chris Harris had a very popular YouTube channel that not a lot of people know about. I watched him on Joe Rogan years ago. He was, he's a real character on Top Gear. You guys, I'm trying to get you to watch it all. It's great.
All right, Northerner, we might.
When's the Grand Tour back anyway?
That's crap.
Exactly.
It's crap.
No, that's the real Top Gear.
Sorry, Andrew, cut you off.
Oh no, it's all good, all good.
Yeah, so crashes were going on.
Yeah, that one was because we thought they just did like a sort of sighter lap, and he was probably saying, oh, they'll do about 30, 40 miles an hour. But then Chris decided to absolutely gun it, and he was probably doing like 60 or 70. And obviously, when you're in a
rig, are you on like 6S and stuff to keep up with that?
We'll get to that.
Yeah.
Let me finish this one first.
Come on, stop interrupting.
And it was just because it was like a tree-lined road, and you were just trying to obviously go from just coming into it. It was quite blind, and then just giving it sort of full throttle, and then just, I don't know, just a random branch obviously just clipped in and just went down.
Yeah, I saw that.
Otherwise, no. Alton Towers, I hit one of the safety nets above the roller coaster. That's about it, really.
Did you need a big ladder to get it down, like every time someone crashes into the net to like pop them?
Kinda. I think it's usually for like catching people's phones and everything, but not generally. You kind of fly in at I don't know, probably 50% of how you can fly, just to make sure that you get a shot, I guess.
One thing I did notice is that you never see the drones in shot. Yet you really should do. So this is going to break some of the magic, but I'm guessing that some of that is staged. And they do it twice, do it 2 or 3 times. Am I in the wrong area there? But I'm like, hang on, the drone was flying there, then it cuts to a shot, and I'm like, where did the drone go?
Yeah, sometimes they paint them out.
Okay.
And then on maybe certain challenges, they would get the pro drivers to do like a lap of whatever after.
Pro drivers? Whoa. what
Giving it away.
See, it's all coming. All this Northerners, watch this.
Yeah.
They're great.
You mean Paddy McGuinness can't really go sideways around Alton Towers?
Yeah.
Wow.
What rigs are you flying at the moment then?
Kind of literally just built some new ones. This is like the one that I've been filming with recently. That's the project, or 399 project, Super G. The 6S. Where's my camera? There you go. Just with HD, FX motors.
Oh, you've got a. Am I muted or not?
No,
You're not muted.
Okay, because I'd recently done a chase of a mountain biker.
Yeah.
And wish I had a less degree angle. Have you got something on there you can just adjust the GoPro angle when you get to the shoot?
Yeah, so this is the old. This would have been one of the ones that would have flown for like most Top Gear. These are just like the source ones, and then beforehand I had the Shendrone's Ichibod frame, and which had obviously the GoPro sort of out front, and you could change the angle.
Yeah, yeah. So you can just do it on the fly.
Yeah, so it's like from that got this is before I had a 3D printer. Seb sort of went to town and designed that mount so I could just use them on the source ones, just because sort of a symmetrical frame, and where the Ichibods are a little bit more tricky to work on, whereas the source one's just super easy.
I like that idea because when I was chasing the mountain bike, my camera angle was too much. So I wish I had a less degree. So something like that would be a good idea to just so you can change it with the conditions you're at or in at that particular time.
Oh yeah, definitely. But since so obviously that's quite, I don't know, comes quite heavy when you do all that stuff. So I've sort of gone back to this like more standard 5-inch, and just been experimenting more with having a different camera angle to like the angle of the GoPro for like certain types of filming.
Yeah. Cool.
So I spotted the DJI system in there. Is that the go-to system for doing professional stuff like that, the HD, or is it just because that's what you're used to from Inspire, moving on to that sort of thing?
No, I would say the main thing is just like the clarity of the image. To see a car coming from quite far away or knowing when they've set off is just a massive bonus for like timing and like little things like that. Whereas, yeah, beforehand I had analog and was fine flying that, to be honest.
So probably better performance around Alton Towers with all that metal.
Yeah, definitely in some environments, like I don't know, Alton Towers, and even in Ali Pali, I think it would probably been horrendous there in analog, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I seem to remember that bit. Ali Pali was a tricky one when they were doing DRL there a few years ago. I think the couple of guys that went up and scouted it, I think might have been Brett and Warren, possibly. A couple of guys in the community, anyway. Yeah, they found that really tricky to work out how best to deal with that. I mean, obviously they've worked out, but I can imagine having a system that's a bit more
reliable.
Yeah,
picture-wise. That's a good question.
Pop this question up from Aris about: do you use the DJI Smart Controller so you can plug an HDMI cable in and the director can see stuff? But given what you said about we just try and get the shot, I'm guessing probably not. Is my guess. You're just filming and you're like, there you go, that's what I got, and the editor comes up and tries to fix it all later.
Especially on Top Gear, there's never usually a director standing over your shoulder. They'd be off. Usually with sort of the main cameras directing that stuff, and we're just sort of left to our own devices a lot of the time. But I tried to use it for Ali Pali, but then every time I armed the quad, the feed would just cut. So I just haven't bothered tried to use smart controllers again, to be honest.
Interesting.
I'm just thinking maybe it's worth going for a bit of a rundown of where kind of the FPV shots were used. So there was, like it says, there was the Alton Towers. There was the guys on top of the roof being driven around the sort of rally track through the forest and that. There was
there was a few earlier ones as well, I believe, but I just hadn't registered it. at that point. But I think the first 2 episodes had like definitely you can always tell because I take it using Real Steady. Cause you can always tell when that's being used, and there was a couple other ones as well. I'm not sure, Andrew, if you can fill in the rest where they were used.
There was all the stuff in North Wales. There was Alton Towers, Wall of Death at Ali Pali, and then just what I think maybe was 1 or 2 shots just in the Salisbury one with Mr. Nippy.
Imber, yes. I was very jealous about that, having seen loads of stuff about Imber, and then to just go like flying around it while there's like tanks and things going around.
Yeah, I actually did a lot of filming with the tanks and like loads of other shots, but none of them made it. So, but it was.
Are you allowed to keep that stuff for yourself?
Yeah, I think so.
Cool.
We request that you find out whether you do have a YouTube channel and post it up there and let us know, because we want to see.
Yeah, no, it was crazy, like filming the tanks. It was just like chaos because there was smoke grenades and everything going off. But yes, I don't know. Obviously, there's like a lot of the crew about as well, so you kind of always have to bear that in the back of your mind. You can't just like, I don't know, just rip round like a crazy.
It's always different when you're filming for a company, isn't it? It's like literally stressful and can't have fun, and when you go home and rip with your friends, that's the fun bit. Is he frozen, or I said something wrong?
Just bored him there, Tony.
I got most of it. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's just strange when it does become more of a job than a hobby, I guess. No, that's it.
I can relate.
Yeah, I'd much rather just go flying with my mates somewhere, like go with Seb into Wales, or I don't know, like to go up to the castle we win and have a few laps up there.
Although that's been used for I'm a Celebrity now, the castle, isn't it? The last we heard.
So, yeah.
Chucked out, yeah.
Yeah, I think we're going to film some of the helis launching tomorrow to take the celebs across.
Wow.
Cool.
So that should be cool.
That is a cool job. I think I think people have the understanding that maybe like Ant's an ad in a newspaper, and it's a little bit more than that, isn't it? So I think it's important to get that out there, that it's not just that. Clearly, it's part of your job, and filming is very much your job. It's not just you were like the luckiest FPV pilot that just bought a load of stuff and said, "Oh, I can fly one of those," kind of thing. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Something I wanted to ask is like surrounding, like we already touched on Real Steady Go and stuff like that, but I take it do they ask for stuff in a particular format, for it to work with their sort of stuff, or is it just basically here is the file with Real Steady Go, put over the top of it and just do what you want with it, kind of thing, in 1080p, or does it have to be HD, like super high def or whatever? The formats.
Completely depends on the production. Like most of the time on Top Gear, you'd film 4K, 25p most of the time. You might do a little bit of slow mo once in a blue moon, but it's usually 4K. Whereas I was doing some like nature stuff the other day, and they shot that in 4K 30 because they might want to slow down a tiny bit to give it a bit more of a floaty feeling. But yeah, it's usually always in the mind to go into a 25p timeline.
And is it your favorite to use Real Steady Go over the latest, like say GoPro have just released Hyper Smooth 3? Is it better? Because I just if I'm trying to, obviously I'm not filming for Top Gear, but if I'm just trying to get a decent shot, I'll stick Hyper Smooth on. Does okay. I imagine when you're doing professional filming, what is it that Real Steady gives you that the other stuff can't?
I think the main thing is that it doesn't look like a GoPro that everyone's really impressed about. Just the way it de-warps the footage, and obviously I always have it set on completely manual on the GoPro, so it's not ever fluctuating exposure, which I think obviously with a lot of GoPro footage probably doesn't make it look as professional. Sometimes you use Hypersmooth for doing different shots though. Like if I want a really sort of wide angle view of super view, I'd maybe use Hypersmooth.
Yeah, sure. We've been on top. It's because wake Jack up to say some knob jokes.
I've never thought about that. That's a really interesting point about making the GoPro footage look like it's not a GoPro, so there's more continuity between the different shots. It sort of makes sense now.
Really
Whereas
interesting.
we kind of want to make stuff look like it's what's that mode you're not allowed to talk about, Andy?
Super view.
Super view is loved because it makes everything look faster as it all flies past the edges, doesn't it? It's kind of like you want to unwrap that back to normal cameras.
Because the thing that we've talked about on this show is like Real Steady Go doesn't always work. It doesn't favor the freestyle. So I wondered if ever like you've taken a shot and then stuck it in Real Steady Go and thought, I wish I'd have used Hypersmooth because it hasn't stabilized that bit. Or do you not really have that problem because you've got a really, decent setup rig for it kind of thing?
Like I usually tune my rigs for filming, so they're probably got a bit. I quite like the feel of quad when it's probably on the limits, I guess. And obviously I'd keep reviewing the footage with the tune, so I guess it is kind of, I don't know, tuned for filming generally.
So it's pretty reliable. You know when you've done a shot, you can pretty much guarantee when I stick Real Steady over the top of that, it's gonna work. Because when I've done it, it's like all shaky sometimes if my rig's got too many. I mean, if you use the Hero 6. They say it's pretty more of a guarantee, but if you're trying like with the, the 5 or the 7, or I think the 8 works with Real Steady, but it seems to be a bit hit and miss when I've tried to use it.
I think it was in the early days of Real Steady, but I generally usually film with a 6, maybe the 8, and sometimes a 7. I usually use them as 7 for Hypersmooth. But no, like most of the time now, the thing is, most of the time when you're filming, you're not really doing that many crazy moves. You're doing something like quite chill, to be honest.
Yeah. So it's very rare you're doing like freestyle maneuvers and stuff. Yeah.
It's funny, isn't it? Because do you remember flying without Hypersmooth? I remember flying stuff, trying to get really good shots without Hypersmooth and stuff. You adjust your flying to try to make it really, really smooth.
Do you remember mounting the GoPro and all the little sort of, let's try a foam block and let's try the different density of foam to mount it this time? And do you remember going back a couple of years that had the soft mounting the motors and then separating the frame motors from the other thing, and all sorts of things we've gone through.
I know, got it made now, haven't we? Really?
Too easy.
Some of the we've started messing about with, sort of the.
Wow!
Now you're talking.
Oh, that looks like an expensive crash waiting to happen.
Yeah. There we go.
Look at that!
Wowzers!
You don't want to stack that.
So you've got Voxocopter X tri blades that are what 7-8 inch.
These are 7, but I've been experimenting with putting bi blades on the bottom ones, but I don't know. It's just it's very different trying to get solid footage out of this compared to the GoPros. So it feels like I've gone back about 5 years and
they're much harder to film with. Do you use any cine drones? Any cine Whoop stuff?
Yeah, I've got some like the naked GoPros, got some Cine Rats. Hold on 2 seconds. A very dirty one. Yep. Got a Cine Rat.
Oh yeah, cool. Oh, Cine Rat, that's called, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, got one of those. I've got some of these that are the bane of your life.
Yes, I'm interested in is that the Beta 85?
Yeah, I've got that's a 95. I've got
95,
the 85.
What's the best one?
But, yeah.
What's the best one you like flying? The 85 or 95?
95, just 'cause it's got a bit more power. I think it's too much for the 85 still.
Why'd you say
Why are they bane of your
life?
life? Because I'm literally ordering.
No,
one.
they just break all the time, and just
God.
to change the GoPro settings is an absolute nightmare.
What? Because it's naked.
Well, you have to,
Yeah,
if you want to get the screen in there, you have to, there's 2 little tabs that you have to press and use the screen.
Just yank on it, Andy. It just come out. It's fine.
Yeah, I did that and broke it.
Can't you use the Wi-Fi module with the naked heroes?
Yeah, you can. You can do that too, yeah.
Yeah. I know the 95s are a little bit more powerful than the 85s, so.
There was a question.
They're all right.
again.
It's just you literally can't fly them with any wind.
Yeah.
Okay. Good for indoor shots.
So Tony King asked,
Yeah, they're good.
did you do any footage at Blackpool with the ice cream van?
I didn't on that one. I did at Salisbury, but I was busy for the Blackpool shoot.
So I'm trying to think. Did you? Because they went out to Cyprus. I don't. Was there any FPV footage on that one?
I know someone
I think Sky Dynamic did the drone shots on that one.
Yeah, I was going to say there were drone shots for sure. The Cyprus was the first one, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was filmed quite a long time ago now.
Yeah, pre-pandemic, obviously.
And then the one in North Wales, was that where they were in the quarry with the zip line?
Yeah.
Yeah, that looked like, because you like.
It was like epic light for it.
I seem to remember you like chasing down with the guy on the zip line.
Yeah. That was, I don't know, it was actually really sketchy because obviously you can't really see the cables and you're looking up at someone above you, and then obviously they're accelerating away and you can't go sort of up and with the cables, and it was just like a bit hairy really.
It looks cool.
No.
It looks cool.
Yeah, no, it was much more fun filming the cars than it was the zip line, to be honest, on that one.
What else we got? We got any other questions in the chat? I
was going to ask about what DJI FPV is obviously used for your FPV. What about your control signal? Is that DJI or is it Crossfire, or what are you using?
Yeah, I just use Crossfire.
Okay. Are you thinking about going over to what's that new one? I can never say the new
Tracer,
TBS one.
No?
Tracer, yeah. So you got a bit more bandwidth there, or I guess it doesn't matter. You're the only one there on 868.
Yeah, I'm kind of tempted to see what it's like for flying, but I'd probably just stick with Crossfire. And just because I've got so many quads on Crossfire, it becomes quite expensive to swap over.
Makes sense.
To something else.
That's what Win says.
Yep.
Cheers, Win.
We all love Win. Win sent me some props for my Actually, I've got it here. Thanks, Win. Sent me some props for my little.
Oh yeah, Tony wants to get into this sort of thing, don't you, Tony?
I do. I've done a few things.
In fact, why don't you can you mention?
You crashed
No?
into a TV.
I crashed into a TV, and we were allocated 2 TVs that day, so I only done one, so I was all right. Yeah, I've done stuff before. I've done the Argos advert, and I've done a few other things. I've done a shoot for Specialized mountain bikes. Yeah, I'm really, really interested because I want to do this as a part-time-ish job.
Side earner, little side earner.
Yeah. I enjoy doing it because it's it's one of the hobbies that I love the best, flying. But yeah, it is the pressure of turning up and doing stuff is the worst bit for me. It's just like, oh my god, you want this? I don't know if I can do that. Let me try it about 10,000 times.
I suppose another thing to ask Andrew about, although it sounds like good fun turning up and flying in places, what's the travel like? Because it sounds like you're going almost constantly here and there and flying. And are you away from home a lot, or are you getting back every day, or what's the sitch there?
I think we may have lost Andrew again.
Andrew's frozen on that one.
Yeah.
Big freeze this time. We may need to reboot him.
I say ask the owl in his garden, or
Yeah. Who once for yes or twice for no?
Are you all right, Jack? He's just muted himself and he looks up really sad. Are you okay, Jack? What are you doing? You know, ask Andrew some questions. You must have loads. No. Okay. Fair enough. Well done for making FPV mainstream. Yeah, that is. Oh, it looks like we lost him.
Oh no.
well, if it wouldn't be LDO if we didn't lose someone or something went wrong, would it? You know what I mean?
That's very true. Your little city whoop looks a little bit like you've got EDFs on it with that many blades there, Tony. It looks a bit like that, doesn't it?
I asked because I don't have a Banggood account, and I knew Win did, and Win sent me some props. I've yet to test it yet, but I've got the 5-bladed props to test on the old City Whoop, so I'm looking forward to testing that.
Thanks, around the house. That's what it's for.
Wait, I've been studying, so I've not been able to do anything. I've been literally going to work and coming home and studying, and that's it. But yeah, thanks, Win, for sending them out. I texted him, and he literally, I just said, "Oh, if you, I got this," and he was like, "Yeah, I got that," and he sent it, and it was there the next day. So good lad.
Yeah, that's my friend Phil doing all. It's not my doing. I held the camera. Phil did all the work with that one.
Yeah, he says Andy RC's video with the cardboard wing was awesome.
I literally don't think we should say his real name anymore. His name needs to be Wilson.
It only makes sense once you explain it, and if people are old enough to remember it.
Yeah, you've got to be old and have watched Home Improvement from the 1980s, probably.
Before Balsa was attainable, everything was cardboard. So that's there's nothing new to Phil there. He's like expert, with the old cardboard. I didn't
keep up the good work with your days out, Andy. I'm really enjoying watching these videos.
Yeah, Phil was my mentor. He taught me early 90s. Yeah, put me through my A and B test. And the next one I'd done with Phil, it's the best FPV experience I've ever had in my next video. I was absolutely speechless what Phil managed to achieve. So that's a good one to look forward to. Tony, are you going to talk about what you've been up to or not?
I've been studying.
Maybe you can save it for a few weeks' time when on the 26th of November we will have Robin FPV from the chat on the show, and maybe we can talk about it then.
I just thought it went into today's theme a little bit, maybe, but no, never mind.
Giving it away there, Andy.
No, it's not. What, Tony on Top Gear?
Yeah, no.
Come on, Jack, speak to us. How you doing, man? Unmute yourself. Reveal yourself.
Yeah, I'm all right.
Oh, looks like we've got
Just a bit knackered.
a bit knackered.
It's coming back.
He's coming back, maybe. He's trying. There we go. Hey,
Hey,
Sorry, guys.
No
no
worries.
problem.
that's all right. My
No, but
question.
we just know you're from up north, and you know you've got
Yeah,
owls in
it's
the
bad there.
background.
I was asking about the glamour of flying,
by
but is there a
candlelight.
lot of logistics with all the traveling and stuff you have to do? Are you away a lot to do this sort of career?
Generally, yeah. Like before lockdown, you're probably away. I don't know, at least 3 times a month in foreign countries, different foreign countries. Yeah, you're not really at home that often, but obviously because of all of COVID, I've actually been working in the UK a lot more, which is kind of nice.
So it sounds like, I mean, we've brought you here because of Top Gear, but it sounds like you do a lot of other things that we're not aware of. Are you allowed to say like where this drone footage gets used elsewhere in other programs? I mean, you mentioned abroad and things.
Usually, like, do a lot of mountain biking abroad, sort of things for F1.
F1.
Did some
Wow.
did some stuff for BBC Nature the other day. But obviously that was in the UK.
Were you herding
loads
owls
of different
with a
things,
quad?
really.
Well, you heard it owls into your garden with a quad.
Well, I noticed on, I think it was at Silverstone, some drone footage with, was it Mercedes? Was that you then, was it? There's
No, I didn't do that one.
There's been a lot of drone footage, like freestyle kind of footage in F1, and it's just clicked. I was like, I wonder if that was yourself.
No. Oh, is it at the F1 when Johnny FPV was flying? Who was it? AlphaTauri then, or was it Toro Rosso?
Yeah.
With Toro Rosso. When was that? About a year or 2 ago.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
was quite cool getting to see Johnny fly.
It's got millions of views, that hasn't it, on the Red Bull?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's actually called F1 versus drone or something like that, isn't it? Yeah. Oh, that was cool to meet Johnny.
That was sort of just after I'd obviously just built my first drone and things like that. So I was just sort of like, out really. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of funny because you get to meet, obviously celebrities doing Top Gear, and you're like, just like, that's Johnny. Like that's what you're getting at.
Like end up shooting, I don't know, loads of different things. Like I'm not really that interested in footy, but I end up shooting a lot with football players, and I don't know, like my little brother loves football. I'm just not bothered about any of that. I'd much rather see Johnny FPV fly than, I don't know, any football player.
Wow.
You're on the right podcast for that, mate. Don't worry.
Yeah. We like Johnny.
We're all the same.
No, I love listening. I usually listen to the show when I'm like a lot of time I have to drive down to London, so I always listen to it on the way down. Like
that's
perfect thing to listen to in the car.
Not sure about that, but thank you.
It's literally us talking bollocks most of the time.
And his famous quote, "This is not podcast material."
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
No, it's been a bit surreal being on the show. When you listen to something and then you're suddenly on it. Weird.
Is this better than Top Gear?
To me, it actually is. I'm not joking. I'm more stoked to be on this and to do Top Gear.
Oh, bless you. Oh, that's
so not really a fan of Top Gear yourself, then?
No, I do. I don't mind Top Gear. I just don't know. It's just weird working on shows and then watching them because it's a completely different reality of what gets condensed into the 60 minutes or whatever that's on TV. When you spent, I don't know, sometimes weeks filming something. It's a strange world. smoke
The 10
with
frames.
mirrors.
There was something I wanted to ask because it's something I'm working with. Have you used any of the Insta360 stabilization stuff for work and what you do? Have you played with any of it? Because what I like about what they do is the stabilization and everything's done afterwards, a bit like Real Steady, but you can change. So I just wondering if you played around with any of that.
I've got one of the, well, I haven't got it here with me right now, but the Cine Birds by Stan FPV, one of their
Oh,
the
yeah,
invisible 360 drones.
Invisible,
Yeah.
So
it's like stitched in the line of it. I've just experimented with that a few times, but I just haven't had sort of the right project to use it on, I guess.
It's interesting, isn't it? That have a completely invisible.
I really do not like any of that 360 cam stuff, especially when they move it from there and it looks all weird, and then they transition it around to the front. I don't
suppose
like
the question on that is it good enough for broadcast quality in the cameras they're coming out at the moment? Because it looks great when it's all expanded, but if you're using it for sort of stabilized footage, sort of pretend stabilized footage for filming one thing, is that good enough? So I tended to think it wasn't.
To say completely depends on the lighting situation.
Yeah, they're not too great in the dark.
Yeah, if it was a sunny day, it'd probably be fine.
Yeah, I've been thinking about it. I've got a 1R, and I was thinking that's interesting having the a completely invisible drone. Been thinking about it. Yeah, it's a little bit clunky though, Insta360 still, I think. But I think from a hobby perspective, if we were to look at anyone that could team up with maybe DJI, they could do something pretty special, I reckon. They just got that missing polished thing on their product, but I think especially when they did the Insta360 Go, if they could do something like that, but specifically for FPV, I think that'd be interesting for sure.
Yeah, I just wish there was, I don't know, similar form factor to the Session that would just do 4K 25 and wasn't as big.
Yeah.
we all dreaming about that.
GoPro took the Session away just to spite us, as far as I can tell.
I think it was the Americans, they had that smash it up and bring it
They
back.
seem to have that unlimited warranty where you could just keep smashing up and replacing them. Like GoPro, losing millions just from FPV pilots.
Yeah.
I love when you watch all the guys in America, is it like they get the Best Buy insurance or whatever, just smash a new 9s up, take it back, just get a new one.
Yeah. Just literally walk in.
That sounds a dream.
Can you replace it? Yeah. I know. I think they've stopped that though.
Yeah, didn't Cricket post something about that the other day? How you have to pay $6 now a month or something.
Wow, crazy! $6, $6. This
to some, that's a month's wage, Tone.
What, $6? Come on.
To me at the moment.
Here's new frame looks pretty cool.
You need to start an OnlyFans, Andy.
No, not doing that.
This is the life of a reviewer. We're on the big bucks. If we can get to $6 a month right now, we're doing well.
It's just diabolical at the moment. Well, diabolical for a while. People are leaving and saying we're being too serious.
Jack starts swearing and talking bollocks for 5 minutes.
Oh, wow. It's been a good show.
Yeah, it's great.
But people do like us talking crap as well.
Yeah. No,
take the piss out of me. The Earth's flat and all that. Come on.
That's why he doesn't like the 360 cams, because it shows off the curve better, doesn't it? That's it. It's been great having Andrew on, though, hasn't it? What an insight to the kind of thing that we think about all the time. So that it's just brilliant, I think, and it fascinates me. I hope we see more of it as well, because it's a very unique perspective, I think, for shows like that as well. I think they're missing a trick, and I jumped out of my chair when I saw it on Top Gear. I was like, "This is brilliant!" More of that. Maybe you'll be on the Grand Tour or whatever. I think it's better than the Grand Tour, but that's just me. I'm not just saying that because it's up north.
Northern bias.
No.
That was a comment earlier, though. I think there was while you were sorting out your internet, but Dave Story said, "Well done for making FPV mainstream. Getting it on BBC One prime time slot."
Yeah,
It is nice
Yeah,
because
that's
previously you did see drone shots all the time, and they were the same thing. It's like pulling back and panning out, and it was
Yeah.
always
Yeah.
that same one. And it's like, oh,
Me following this
what a
barge
drone
down
have they?
the river.
Yeah.
quite like when they chucked Flint off that. That was insane. They chucked it. They did a bungee jump off a dam in a car. It's really good. It's really good.
All right, I might watch it now. God, you keep going on.
Do you
I
now
think
work
we
for
need a
Top
new
Gear? You've been
segment.
fired by everybody else.
I bloody wish I worked for Top.
Is it
Gear.
called Oi Andy RC? Who are you working for this week?
Yeah.
I could tell you.
RP's on popular opinions.
The Dole office, that's what I'm working for at the moment.
Oh.
Yeah, I think it's just about time to wrap up. But Quadigaz asked, "Has Andrew got any more FPV footage coming out on TV that he can talk about, so that we can keep an eye out for it?"
Let the
not
hour.
on- Yeah, not on TV.
Ah.
There'll be some cool stuff that's coming out on YouTube, I think, pretty
Nice.
soonish.
Cool.
I can't
Tune
really
into all
talk
the
about
mountain
that.
bike channels.
Yeah, watch out in the mountain bike world, I'd say.
Who is your favorite sort of pilot that you look up to? Is it Johnny?
Yeah, Johnny's all right. Really like Blaster.
Blaster.
Yeah, Air Blaster. I don't know if
Oh.
he's
Yeah,
changed his name to Blaster now. I think he just does really like creative stuff. Like, might not be the best flying in the world, but he just has a creative sort of filmic take on everything. Like Gab 707, he does some pretty cool stuff. Quite like Jets. I'm trying to think who else. Yeah, just those guys. Those guys. Like, I look well. It was what over lockdown. I don't know if you guys watch any, because Max Stunts just did his sim sessions for like an hour each night. Quite like watching Matty. Don't know. Just like watching most people. It's pretty fun. This.
And one question that we always ask that we haven't done is it Beta Flight, Kiss, or Flight One, and then that'd be the lot. I think all the questions. Which one are you running? Beta Flight, Kiss, or Flight One?
None.
Oh, okay.
And on that bombshell, it's the end of the show. Bye.
See you later.
Nicely done.
Good night.
No, guys.